in that folder.
Nothing in there for me.
Yeah, no. And I didn't have anything for you to sign. All right. It is 6:30. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the City Council meeting for the City of Fairway, Kansas. It is Monday, September 11th, 2023, 6:30 p.m. Nathan, any announcements? Nope, I don't have any either. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In remembrance of 9/11, I'd like to ask that we please observe a moment of silence in memory of those who died that day and all the first responders that have lost their lives in the days following that. I heard a report today that that count is up to almost 600 that have died in related illnesses due to September 11. So please take a few moments. May we always remember. Thank you. All right, there will be two proclamations this evening. I'll read the first one, which is on National Suicide Prevention Week, and we also have one National Co-Responder and Crisis Responder Week. Excuse me. September is National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Whereas the month of September is National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month and is intended to help promote awareness surrounding each of the suicide prevention resources available to us and our community. The simple goal is to learn how to help those around us and how to talk about suicide without increasing the risk of harm. And whereas suicidal thoughts can affect anyone regardless of age, gender, race, orientation, income level, religion, or background. And whereas suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States and the second leading cause of death among individuals between the ages of 10 to 34. And whereas Fairway, Kansas is no different than any other community in the country, but chooses to publicly state and place our full support behind local educators, mental health professionals, athletic coaches, PAC leaders, police officers, and parents as partners in supporting our community in simply being available to one another. And whereas local organizations like the Johnson County Suicide Prevention Coalition and national organizations like the National Alliance on Mental Illness are on the front lines of a battle that many still refuse to discuss in public, as suicide and mental illness remains too taboo to a topic to speak on. And whereas every member of our community should understand that throughout life's struggles, we all need the occasional reminder that we are all silently fighting our own battles. And whereas I encourage all residents to take the time to inquire as to the well-being of their family, friends, and neighbors over the next few days, and to genuinely convey their appreciation for their existence by any gesture they deem appropriate. A simple phone call, message, handshake, or hug can go a long way towards helping someone realize that suicide is not the answer. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Melanie Hepperly, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2023 as National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month in the city of Fairway, dated this 11th day of September, 2023. National Co-Responder and Crisis Responder Week, whereas Johnson County, Kansas has continued to address the rising demand for mental health and substance use services, and whereas mental health and substance use challenges can lead to homelessness, incarceration, and emergency room visits, which are more intrusive and costly for communities than earlier interventions and connections to behavioral health services. And whereas Johnson County, Kansas has recognized the need for additional resources for individuals experiencing mental health crisis and identified co-responders and mobile crisis teams as an emerging effective practice. And whereas Johnson County Mental Health Center's co-responder program was established in 2011 to embed mental health clinicians with law enforcement agencies to respond collaboratively to individuals in crisis, provide the right intervention at the right time to avoid arrests, emergency room visits, and repeat 911 calls by connecting to appropriate resources. And whereas Johnson County Mental Health Center's mobile crisis response team includes mental health clinicians and crisis case managers that provide screenings, assessments, and connections to appropriate resources like counseling, medication, housing, and other basic necessities, further reducing the need for unnecessary first responder interactions and hospitalizations. And whereas today the co-responder program has 20.5 co-responder positions and 15 partnerships with local law enforcement agencies, and the mobile crisis response team has 10 positions, including 3 new positions approved by the Board of County Commissioners last month. And now, therefore, in recognition of their service to our community, I, Melanie Hepperly, Mayor of the City of Fairway, do hereby proclaim the week of September 18th as National Co-Responder and Crisis Responder Week in the City of Fairway, Kansas, dated this 11th day of September, 2023. All right, the monthly reports of standing committees. Chief Chick is not here this evening, so we will let the Consolidated Fire District Number 2 report stand as submitted. Administration and Finance, Nathan?
I'll let the report stand as submitted. I'll just note that the draft of the Citizen Satisfaction Survey has been, or I shouldn't say the draft, the topics that were submitted by you all have been submitted to the county, to ETC, so that they can work on getting our survey put together. So that the goal is to get the survey out by the end of this month, and it'll take about 2 months for collection, and then they'll start doing the data analysis after that. So hopefully by end of the year we'll have the report back on the contents of the survey. That is it for administration, unless there are any questions.
Any questions for Nathan? Thank you, Nathan.
Okay.
Police? Yeah.
Finance.
Oh, go ahead.
Finance, not much to report there. Sales tax and cash flow are strong. The committee reviewed the draft of the 2024 budget, which you all will consider this evening. And everything else I'll just leave as submitted, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any on finance? Thank you, Nathan. Police, Chief?
Thank you. I'll let my report stand. I do have some discussion points I just would like to mention. First of all, in reference to your proclamations. Suicide affects the community, as you all know, and I'm not sure if the council is aware that suicide has directly impacted our department before. In 2014, we lost an officer to suicide, so it means a lot for the recognition of that. Also, in reference to the co-responder proclamation, A proclamation will be read by the Board of County Commissioners on Thursday, and I've been asked to speak and say a few words on that in reference to the co-responder program because of the support that this community has given to that from the very beginning with assistance with hiring and, again, support of that entire initiative. It has been nothing but beneficial to our department to have the co-responders able to respond and assist us with mental health issues. I'd also like to note that tomorrow is National Police Women's Day, so if anybody would like to say anything to our women officer and our support staff, that would be cool. It's tomorrow, September 12th. Maybe make a note. And then I want to talk a little bit, just briefly, about two events that have happened within the last 2 days. Yesterday, there was a rollover accident at Shawnee Mission Parkway in Aberdeen. It was a single-car rollover. The accident itself was very violent, and we initially thought it may be a fatality, but in fact, it did not end up that way. And in fact, it was an injury accident, but everyone will live. And again, it was a single car. We're still investigating that. We had outside agencies, their investigation units come over and assist us with that. So there's an ongoing investigation about why that occurred, but it caused a lot of property damage. And luckily, no one died. And then today's activity, we had a federal agency in our city at Hen House. And they took an individual into custody on a warrant that they had that was active. That individual is not from the area. They just knew that that person was within Fairway and then acted on it and took him into custody. I'm happy to answer any questions in reference to the report or anything else.
Any questions for the chief? David?
Where was the accident on Shawnee Mission Parkway?
Aberdeen?
Aberdeen, thank you.
Yeah, it pretty much destroyed a statue in the island and a Jeep Cherokee. And a light pole.
Any other questions? Thank you, Chief. Public Works, Bill?
Thank you, Mayor. I will also let my report stand as submitted. A couple things I would like to point out is, I don't know if you've been down 53rd Street and saw the new crosswalk. It was a new application of something we have never used before. We were planning on going with stamped concrete to kind of set it off. And the contractor that we selected over the second low bid contractor approached us with this other design and said, you know, other cities have used it, including Prairie Village and like the 75th and Mission area, went out and looked at it. And I just happened to have a meeting with Prairie Village's Public Works Director later that day, and I asked him, you know, they looked great. I said, how new are they? I assumed, you know, they'd been put in a couple months earlier. He's like, oh, they're like 5 or 6 years old. And I'm like, oh, we need to try that. So it's a nice herring, but it's kind of made of the same material that the striping is, like for the differentiate between the lanes, but they heat it up with this machine that rolls heat over it, and then they put whatever pattern you want. We went with a herringbone pattern to kind of look like the rest of the stuff around the Indian Mission, and then they had a chicken wire frame that they tamped it down with, and it looks like a herringbone brick crosswalk and should last for years and years and years. And on top of that, got word today that the RRFB is in Kansas City, so hopefully it'll be delivered later this week and installed next week. So they'll have a push-button operation to get across the street as well.
Great. It really does look nice.
And it's very smooth. It's not as abrasive as like when you do a transition with stamped concrete. I'm very happy with it, and if we get the durability out of it that I expect us to, you will probably see them in other areas as well.
Great. Thank you, Bill. Any questions? Yes, Jenna.
I do. Hey, Bill, can you give us a status update on 62nd Terrace and kind of the curb replacement, where we're at that?
Most of the curb work is done. They still have box and pipe work to do, and then once that's done, all the paving should be done shortly after that, so hopefully all wrapped up by the end of the month.
End of September?
End of September, yes.
Awesome, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else? Okay.
Weather permitting, my little asterisk I put on everything.
Yes. Okay, Parks and Rec, Bryce?
Thanks, Mayor. The Fairway Pool's closed for the season. I know a lot of kids will be sad about that. I'm the other way for that. very excited that we had another safe season, and we brought Renee on, and Vicky now just transitioned to admin today, so we're kind of in still some growing mode there, and but I think for both departments it's going to go really well. I would like to say that the crosswalk at 53rd has really helped Jennifer with the school tours that she gives as well. It's if you've ever been there, well, really any time of day, nobody really slows down, and I think that difference in the roadway will definitely help when she's got little kids walking across the street. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Bryce? Congratulations on a successful season.
Thanks.
It's fantastic. Okay, monthly reports of special committees. I'm going to say Bill this time. I usually say Nathan. I'm going to say Bill this time.
No report.
Okay. All right, next is public comment for consent agenda items only. Seeing no one in the audience unless someone's joined us. Nope. All right, we will dispense with that and move on to the consent agenda items. These items are determined to be routine enough to be acted on in a single motion. However, this does not preclude discussion. If a council member requests, an item may be removed from the consent agenda for further consideration and a separate motion. Those items are: A, approve the minutes of the previous regular city council meeting. B, approve claims and appropriations, ordinance number 1788, August 2023. C, approve annual maintenance agreement for all city facilities with Santa Fe Heating and Cooling. D, approve professional services agreement with Trek Design Group, LLC, to prepare plans and specifications for the 2025 Stormwater Improvement Project. And E, approve change order number 1 to the Peterson Park Restroom Design Agreement with Mega KC. Does anyone on the council wish to remove any of those items before I ask for a motion?
Mayor, I don't want to remove it. I just want to make sure on item D, it is the 2025 stormwater project, not 24.
Correct. It'll be designed in 24.
Okay,
though.
that's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
All right, is there a motion concerning those items?
My mic is warmed up, Mayor, after that.
Thank you, David.
Mayor, I move that we approve items A through E of the consent agenda.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we approve consent agenda items A through E. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. All right, we'll go on to new business. We will include items A, B, and C discussion at the same time. And I've been told that I've been doing this wrong for 5 years. The public hearing is now open to exceed the revenue neutral rate and 2024 budget hearing. Still no one in the audience? Okay. Seeing no one online, I will close the public hearing. All right, item B, consider resolution 2023D, a resolution of the city of Fairway, Kansas to levy a property tax rate exceeding the revenue neutral rate. I will read the resolution into the record. A resolution of the City of Fairway, Kansas to levy a property tax rate exceeding the revenue neutral rate. Whereas the revenue neutral rate for the City of Fairway was calculated as 18.122 mills by the Johnson County Clerk, and whereas the budget proposed by the governing body of the City of Fairway will require the levy of a property tax rate exceeding the revenue neutral rate, and whereas the governing body hearing held a hearing on September 11, 2023, allowing all interested taxpayers desiring to be heard an opportunity to give oral testimony. And whereas the governing body of the City of Fairway, having heard testimony, still finds it necessary to exceed the revenue neutral rate. Now therefore be it resolved by the governing body of the City of Fairway, the City of Fairway shall levy a property tax rate exceeding the revenue neutral rate of 18.122 mils. This resolution shall take effect and be enforced immediately upon its adoption and shall remain in effect until future action is taken by the governing body. As soon as we pass a motion, it will be adopted this 11th day of September 2023, and I will sign that document. Is there anyone who would like to make that motion?
Mayor, I move that we approve item B on the new business agenda, which is Resolution 2023D, which is a resolution of our city to levy a property tax rate exceeding the revenue neutral rate.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion by council?
I just, not
David?
discussion, just much as a comment, and, when reading the news articles about other cities who are in the same process, and the headline always seems to be City X votes to exceed the revenue neutral rate, and it's almost like it's a black mark on those cities, and I wish we could not exceed the revenue neutral rate, but that would mean that our expenses did not increase or are not projected to increase either. And unfortunately, our expenses go up just like everyone else's. And if we were to maintain the revenue neutral rate, which is no increased revenues, we'd be faced with a truly draconian choice of which services to our residents do we cut. Do we not pave the roads? Do we not provide police officers? So it's unfortunate that we have to go through this exercise each year on the revenue neutral rate when realistically our expenses, the cost of operating the city, even with the same number of employees, the same services, doesn't stay the same year to year.
And David, to follow up an additional thought that I've had when I read those same articles, Fairway has, as long as I've been involved in city government, which is since 2009, Fairway has always had the budget forum and welcomed our residents to come and speak. We've been totally transparent. And sometimes when I read these articles, it also appears that they are saying there's a black mark on the cities because we're not being transparent about the budget. Now, I can't speak about what other cities do, but I do want to go on the record as saying that Fairway has always had a budget forum. Now, we didn't call it a public hearing, but it was the same. Any other discussion? Okay, then we'll take the vote. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no? No. All right, 7 yes, 1 no. All right, moving on to item C. Consider the 2024 budget and the 2024 through 2028 capital improvement plan. I know that all of you have seen the various drafts as we have taken them through the committees and then also through the Finance and Admin Committee. We've seen the budget draft revisions, and we saw the final budget at our August Finance and Admin Committee meeting, as well as the CIP program. So I know that you all have had a chance to review that. Is there any discussion on that budget? Any concerns? Any questions before I ask for a motion to approve? All right. There is no one in the audience still, so we will proceed with a motion.
Mayor, I move that we approve the 2024 budget and the 2024-28 capital improvement plan.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the 2024 budget and 2024 through 28 capital improvement plan. All those in favor, yes or aye? Aye. No, and any noes? No. All right, 7 yes, 1 no. Nathan, the budget's approved. All right, item D under new business. Consider professional services agreement with Burns and McDonnell for the design of the 2024 CIP projects. Bill?
Thank you, Mayor. This is to enter into another contract with Burns and McDonnell. I asked them for a quote on services for the exact same thing they provided us this year, and they provided us with the same fee as last year. So I talked with Nathan and made sure he was comfortable with that. And they have served us very well for the last 2+ years that they've been doing our CIP. And I recommend that we approve this whenever we get the documentation ready.
All right. Any questions for Bill? Okay. Is there a motion concerning this agreement?
Mayor, I move that we approve item D on the new business agenda, the professional services agreement with Burns and McDonnell for the design of the 2024 CIP projects.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this agreement with Burns and Mac. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. Oh, I'm sorry, I should have asked. 1 abstention. Sorry, Dan. I even had it written down. Now, maybe next time I'll read it. Sorry. Okay. There being no further business, I will open the floor for any governing body comments.
Mayor, sort of following up on your comment about our transparency about the open forums, I've not been quite as long as you have, but 8 or 9 years comes close. An observation, and tonight is a good example. In the last several years, we've had either 0 or 1 or 2 people attend these, and it's either a mark that we are done a great job or there's public apathy. I hope it's the former. But I think that, and not to pat ourselves on the back, that I think all of our staff people and the council have done a great job in this process, as they do every year, and I'm happy to be part of it.
Thank you, Joe.
Mayor,
Jenny?
yeah, the reminder that the Go Green Fair is September 23rd, and we're looking for volunteers to help out. It's at Sylvester Powell Community Center, 9 to noon. If you know anyone in Fairway, we are a sponsor, so if you have any residents who might be interested in helping out at a booth and setting up, you can reach out to me. Happy to connect them.
And that's September 23rd?
September 23rd.
Okay.
Yeah. And then one more, you probably saw the article about a vendor at the Overland Park Farmers Market who had said some pretty horrific things that were anti-Semitic. So really glad this body passed the resolution and the definition that we did. Reminder that the Jewish high holidays are this weekend, so that's our new year. So if you have Jewish friends, you can wish them a happy new year. Figured I would just let people know. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenna. Anyone else?
Yes.
Jason?
I would like to recognize Lindsay Bowen, Kelly Rosen, Bryce, and Nathan for putting together the T-shirts that we have been selling. You guys did a great job as far as getting the website updated. I mean, everything was awesome. And hopefully we can run through the, I think 288, right, is what we ordered? Or, well, I guess what was the final number?
We ordered 407.
407. Okay. So what was how many extra do we have, if you will?
We had 50, and I think you had 24
Okay,
for the fall
cool.
festival.
So about 75-ish.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, very good. So I just want to say thank you very much. I guess we'll see what the final tail of the tape is, but around 4,000, no, almost 5, right, ish, that we'll be able to donate.
We brought in just over, we brought in just over 7,200, I believe, for the total revenue that we brought in, and then we'll figure out when that, what the shirt coverage, everything is there. But
Cool.
Yeah, we'll have that shortly.
Awesome. Fantastic. Yep, just want to say thank you to everybody who was involved with that. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Great. If you'll thank both of those residents for us, we appreciate their donating their time.
Yep.
Okay, anyone else? Nope. All right. We will also dispense with the public comment for items not listed on the agenda. There's no one in the audience here, and there's no one online. Shall we adjourn?
Go ahead, David.
I move that we adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.